Welcome to Astro Venture, the DSLR astrophotography channel. Hey there, Astro Ventures. Here we go. It's the month of November already. And we have a number of great opportunities coming up for being able to get out and do some imaging this month. And what I'm talking about is because of the we're going into winter and we're leaning away from the sun. We get those darker hours earlier, and you actually have 3 great weekends to be able to shoot. November 6, 7, 8, that weekend there, you're going to end up with about 4 hours or approximately 4 hours to go out and shoot on those particular nights. The moon will be rising late in the evening, but due to the early darkness, you're going to be able to pull off some hours because like here in Utah where I'm at, I'm completely dark by 7 o'clock in the evening, and the moon's not going to rise until a little after 11. So right there, that's going to give me a good 4 hours. The following weekend, November 13th, 14th, that's your new moon weekend. So you've got all night plus, as I said, you've got dark coming early on. And then the following weekend, November 20th, 21st, there you're going to be able to do some imaging after 11 p.m. All the way through to the morning hours. So again, you're going to be able to pull a good 6+ hours. So there's really 3 great weekends to be able to get out and do some imaging this month. So have at it. And of course, it is starting to get colder, but we're not in that December, January cold yet. So let's go through the targets. We got a good number of them this month. First off, Andromeda. Again, this is our most friendly, easy to spot beginner target, as well as many of us old timers doing this. We're always looking to improve upon what we've been doing. Nice large target. You can see it in the night sky. It is M31, and everybody has a lens that they can make work with this. Shooting on this particular target, anywhere 200, 300 millimeter, 400 millimeter, and again, any focal lengths that I give, that's based off of using a crop sensor camera. But any one of those focal lengths, 200, 300, 400 millimeters, you're going to be able to get a nice, really solid image that is big enough to be printable. And with the colder air, that also helps to calm things down in the atmosphere and take the moisture down, so we tend to get our sharper images. But there you go, Andromeda Galaxy. Moving on from there, another great one, the second largest galaxy in our night sky, M33, the Triangulum. This particular one, I would also throw this one kind of in the easier category to get, but I do find this one a bit more difficult to process just because, as you can see looking at the image here on the screen, it doesn't process as cleanly and easily as the Andromeda, at least that's what I have found. And this is M33 Triangulum, and with this one, 500 millimeter plus, you might even, if you have a compatible lens camera combination, 500 millimeter, throw in a teleconverter like a 1.4. If you're unfamiliar with teleconverters, they help to give some additional magnification. The thing is, though, is the greater that additional magnification, the more it loses light, and meaning that you're going to have to push that ISO or longer exposures. And the greater the magnification, you start to get some degradation in the optics. Generally, most manufacturers putting out teleconverters at the range of 1.4 tends to be a really good spot with minimal degradation of the optics, minimum loss of light, but really giving you that extra, that extra boost in reach. So the Triangulum, that's another great one to do. And it only gets higher as the night goes on. Moving on from there, let's see here. We're going to jump over to IC 1805. IC 1805. And for those of you at home playing bingo of the nebula, IC 1805, there you go. This is in combination with the Fish Head Nebula up here on the top, which is IC 1795. This one here does lend itself more towards those Astromodids, but it's still a strong enough emission nebula that those of you shooting stock cameras will have no problem with a few hours on this target of being able to pick up enough data to be able to process and work this one. It's a great target. You can shoot this one. Well, you got quite a bit of flexibility. On this particular target, 200 millimeter, 250 millimeter will really fill the frame with this one. But if you decided, you could also jump out to, say, 100 millimeters, and then you could pull in its neighbor, the Sol Nebula, and capture the two together. So you have options to either zoom in on this one and really get in there, or zoom out a bit to bring in the Sol Nebula. So moving on from there, we'll go right next door to its neighbor because they're almost packaged together, the Heart and Sol Nebula. But the Sol is IC 1848 for your little nebula bingo card. Here we go, the Sol Nebula. This one here is not quite as strong of an emission nebula as what the Heart is. However, it is again still doable. If you're looking to capture this one as a single target, I'm going to recommend 200 to 400 millimeters. 400 millimeter really fills the frame up nicely, giving you enough cropping around the edges to get rid of any discrepancies that happen as a result of the stacking process. And so this is another great one, the Sol Nebula. So grab that one as well. Now let's get into some more challenging targets where we're reaching out for greater distance, and if you have that means of using a teleconverter, it really comes in handy. So the next one I'm going to suggest to you is going to be NGC 281, and that one would be the Pac-Man Nebula. Now you can see this is quite a bit smaller than where we were at. This one is off of Cassiopeia. Here you can see Cassiopeia. And so it's pretty darn small, and this is going to be one of those things where you can work with the stars. This is the one that points off to the Andromeda galaxy, kind of that arrowhead, and you can see where the Pac-Man Nebula is located. With this one, 500 millimeters plus, and again, if you have that option for a 1.4 teleconverter, that'll help. This one definitely does lend itself more to the Astromodic cameras, and you're going to want to try and get a lot of data on this one to get the cleanest stacked data you can, because it is going to be a smaller target. It's not going to offer you a lot of leeway in lesser quality data because you have less to work with and then crop in on. Okay, now as if that one wasn't hard enough, let's push for another really difficult one. Again, due to its size and as well as its processing difficulty. NGC 7635, also known as the Bubble Nebula. And this little bugger, as you could see, we were just looking at Pac-Man. Bubble's going to be tiny. For you to pull this one off, 500 millimeter or greater, teleconverter would certainly help. Hours and hours and hours of data, but boy, this one's a rewarding one. As of yet, I've shot this a few times, but I've never had anything I've been that happy with, showing, sharing, or anything, because it just hasn't happened for me. But it is a cool looking one when it comes through and it works out for you. Now, right next door to this one, and this will be our last target that we're going to be throwing out there for the month, is the other Lagoon Nebula. And this is the Northern Lagoon Nebula. And you can see here, with that 500 millimeter, you could actually frame up and capture both of these together. And just for reference, let me back out a little bit. You can see we're right next to Cepheus. Okay, let's go back in. And so you could actually pull these two in very well. The Northern Lagoon Nebula is NGC 7538, definitely 500 millimeter plus. Teleconverter, if you have it, that's going to help. And I would certainly probably go for trying to frame both of them into an image because they are so small. So maybe a little bit more quantity since it is such a small targets in this area. Just in quick passing before I let you go, keep in mind you got Cepheus out here. Cepheus has a lot of great targets. We've covered them in other months, but Cepheus is rotating around from the northeast over to the northwest in the night sky, but Cepheus has lots of great targets going there. Then later on this month, I will also be taking a look at a comet that is projected for us to possibly be able to image this summer. Right now they're calling it the Devil Comet because of double spikes coming off of it, but it's a big one. And hopefully that will materialize for us this summer. So I'll be doing a little bit of work looking into that, and we'll have that coming up. So, well, if you capture any of these targets, I would love to see you share them over at our Facebook group, Astro Venture DSLR, and drop in there, throw some of your images up, chat, share. There's a lot of great people in there. And finally, before we send you off on your way to get 3 great weekends of imaging, I wish you clear skies and uneventful nights. Until next time.